afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Welcome, and thank you for joining us at the beautiful living roof of the California Academy of Sciences. My name is Johanna Parton. I'm the Environmental Policy Advisor for Mayor Lee. And we're very excited today to be making an announcement about a major carbon reduction milestone that San Francisco has met. So to make that announcement, I'd like to introduce Mayor Ed Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, Johanna. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. I have some great announcements about milestones for our city's efforts, our city's historic and present efforts to reduce carbon emissions, and something that all of us, Department of Environment, our city, working together with agencies like MUNI and our nonprofit organization partners and community advocates, as well as our state and our federal government. And so today I have two specific announcements, but the one that is exciting to me and that I think is probably the most advanced progress that we've made in the city. Something that begun with my predecessor, Gavin Newsom, when he was mayor, and the last time he made an announcement about the carbon emissions reductions that we had, he was able to announce last year in 2010 that we had reached the Kyoto Protocol levels of 7% below our 1990 levels. Well, today, after updated analysis and a recognition of the efforts that have been made, we have now reached 12% below the 1990 levels. That's a tremendous, tremendous accomplishment for our city. Thank you very much to all of our partners for doing that. You know, that's important. We set a goal, and Gavin Newsom, again, I really thank him because he had this wonderful vision that I got to adopt and visualize with him as a city administrator prior years, and to help create, with the Department of Environment and all of our partners, a way forward with our communities to get to a larger goal. And that is that goal for next year is 20% below the 1990 levels. And certainly we can achieve that. With today's announcement going to 12%, knowing what we can do, that gap is definitely achievable. And by the way, we've accomplished this goal while the city's population is increasing. Can you imagine that? We've increased our population from 790,000 people to about 805,000 residents. And at the very same time, we've increased the use of electricity in our city. While all that's going on, we're reducing our carbon emissions. So there's got to be a story here for everybody to understand how we've been able to do this. And I can tell you now, we did not do it by simply saying, no, we can't do this, and no, we can't live this way, or just screaming woes or saying that we can't be successful. We did it with really three principles in mind. We did it with basically being smarter. We did it being less wasteful. And then we did it with being innovative in our city. Those three principles have really distinguished our city and all of our partners working together. And that's why we're on top of a roof of a building that our Academy of Sciences put together some years ago, and we got to help oversee as a Department of Public Works Director. That's why I want to also congratulate the Academy of Arts the Academy of Sciences for being the largest double platinum LEED certified building in the world. And so we wanted to announce our carbon reductions accomplishments right here at a very pristine but exciting building that has also done its share of contributing to our reduction of emissions. You know, we're gonna be talking today about how we were able to do there, how we're able to get to this carbon reductions. But I want to note for you that it is without a doubt the great partnerships, the great leaderships that we've had. And I again will say to it very confidently that Lieutenant Governor and former Mayor Gavin Newsom did lead this effort, lead this vision. He also led the effort with former Supervisor Sophie Maxwell and with great community leaders like Espanola Jackson, who's here today to share with us. Espanola, You've been a wonderful, wonderful advocate, because I know and have heard you year after year in my previous capacities articulate in very passionate ways the community's desire to be less the victims of asthma, less the victims of wasteful use of our energy when we closed the Hunters Point plant and now the Potrero plant. Those two closures in and of themselves contributed greatly to us as a city embracing and being able to accomplish today's goal. And we have much more to do, but we're very much there. And at the same time, the other announcement I wanted to make is in our recycling and in our composting goal, we have been kind of hovering around the 77% for some time, when we had made some great strides to educate and work with our communities, our residents, our businesses, our restaurants, to really compost and recycle as much as they can. Well, today we're at 78%. And again, well on our way. Another, while modest, very, very important step forward, because every inch that we make, every percent that we make towards the ultimate goal of 100% recyclable in this city is going to get harder and harder, and we have to get that much smarter and smarter about it. And we have to bring in that many more partners. So today I want to generally just say to you that the Department of Environment, especially the climate team that's been represented here today, some of them are holding up these great signs to explain here our partnership with the city and with all the city agencies. I want to thank them for leading the charge. I want to thank Melanie Nuther. She's been so passionate about this and so mindful that even this, my short term as the interim mayor, she's been in the office talking through all the things that we want to continue doing. And again, I want to also recognize and thank the former director, Jared Blumenfeld, who was part of the team with Gavin in articulating this vision some years ago and getting us to where we are today. All of the city partners, the city agencies, the community, the NGOs, and the private sector partners are extremely important to getting a whole city family together on this very focused effort to reduce our carbon emissions. Again, I want to recognize the California Academy of Sciences for their real world-class facility here and for having the largest double platinum LEED building in the world. I want to thank former Supervisor Sophie Maxwell. Her leadership at the Board of Supervisors, her constant reminder that the ills, the medical ills in the Bayview community, we're so reminded with advocates like Espinola Jackson who's here today. I want to thank our committed environmental organizations like NRDC who are also here today to join us in this very celebration of milestones that this city is committed to continuing and moving forward on. I also want to thank our Public Utilities Commission. You know, having a Public Utilities Commission under the leadership of Ed Harrington now has been such a wonderful thing because he's moving forward with the rebuild of our water system and making sure that our electrical, at least our municipal electrical supply, is 100% carbon neutral with Hetch Hetchy power. I want to recognize the former PUC Commissioner Dick Sklar, who contributed so greatly his intelligence and his wisdom to the commission and to his leadership that we have today such a very well organized and very dedicated PUC staff as well as commission. I want to recognize the California Independent Systems Operator. We work very closely with CAISO in what we do here and making sure that we have with them as the state a strong partnership in what we do in reducing our carbon emissions, because we're not just going to be an island here in San Francisco. We have to share what we do across the state. We need their support. We need their vision about the whole state. And again, I want to thank all the partners in the community. You know, our communities oftentimes are the ones that we don't recognize as much as we should, because they're the ones, and we are the ones in the community that suffer if we don't get carbon emissions reduced. People come here to San Francisco and to California because our air is cleaner, and particularly Northern California. And I would like to say that I would like to take some credit in reducing the carbon emissions by my own driving and my staff's driving a Chevy Volt. But I know that the staff will remind me that cars and trucks have increased in this city. They have not done their share in reducing the carbon emissions. And so I commit today to the staff that I'm going to be working with Johanna Parton being the lead on, if you can't get people out of individual cars, at least you can change the cars. And we can go to 100% electric vehicles. That's what I want to lead today. I want to make sure that San Francisco, with Oakland and San Jose and the other 9 counties, lead to be the EV capital of the world, because it's going to take a lot longer for people to reduce it. We got car share, we have Zipcar, we have wonderful alternatives to owning your own individual cars or to owning your second car. But if you're going to own a car, then let's make it a carbon neutral car with electric vehicles. So we're going to try to do that in an even more dedicated way. And I would love to be that EV capital that when President Obama lands in this weekend, we're telling him we're the EV capital of the world, and he can come in here and get rid of the SUVs if he'd like as well. So with that, thank you again very much for joining us for these 2 announcements, these very important goals that our city has created and not only created, but that we have analyzed. We're committed to reducing our carbon emissions, and we're committed to the 100% recycling goal of our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor Lee. And we would not have been able to meet this goal at all without the very strong support and the constant urging and pushing of at the top in the city. So Mayor Lee, thank you so much for your support and for really pushing us all the time to meet this goal. The department that has really led the effort to push the city to meet these goals, to work with city departments and to work with community partners and private sector partners to reach this goal of 12% below our 1990 levels is the Department of the Environment. And here to talk a little bit about the details of how we've met the goal and what we need to do to continue striving to meet our longer-term carbon goals is the Director of the Department of the Environment, Melanie Nutter.
Great. Thank you, Johanna. And thanks to Johanna for all the great work that you've done in the mayor's office to help enable the city's success on starting to address climate change. Good morning, everyone. I'm just thrilled to be here today as representative of the Department of the Environment for this important announcement about the progress that we've made. Both on our greenhouse gas reductions as well as on our waste reduction efforts in San Francisco. First and foremost, I did want to thank our mayor, Mayor Lee, for his incredible leadership as well as for great support on sustainability issues. So thank you very much, Mayor Lee, for all of your support and for your leadership. I'm sure all of you know the climate change threats that we're facing here in San Francisco, being a city that is surrounded by water on 3 sides. Under a do-nothing scenario, sea level rise could flood up to 90 miles of major Bay Area roadways, as well as our airport and many parks and open spaces in San Francisco and the Bay Area. The impact would not only be environmental, but economic and social as well. Cities could face up to $48 billion of infrastructure damage, and significant public health impacts could occur due to increased heat waves in San Francisco. So I don't need to tell all of you that we need to continue to act swiftly and take bold action to address climate change locally. So today I'm so happy to be joining the mayor to affirm that San Francisco has rejected the do-nothing scenario and is taking decisive action to achieve greenhouse gas reductions locally. As you've heard from Mayor Lee, we've made great strides by achieving a reduction of 12% below the 1990 levels just in 2010. That's from 2010 data. Department of the Environment's citywide carbon inventory assessment shows that these reductions are the equivalent of taking 128,000 cars off of the road every year. So it's a significant impact. The city has closed polluting power plants, which you heard Mayor Lee reference, and Pacific Gas and Electric is delivering cleaner electricity to San Francisco. Certainly, both of these have played a significant role in the progress that we've made. But San Francisco has also been on the forefront of adopting and implementing innovative policies and programs that are making an impact in helping us achieve these goals. I wanted to just spend a few minutes talking about what those policies and programs are, as well as actions that can be taken by residents, businesses, and the city to continue down this path. So our buildings are greener and more efficient. Local investments in energy efficiency and solar systems are contributing to San Francisco's progress in reducing emissions. The Energy Watch program that many of you have probably heard of provides free assessments and financial incentives to qualifying businesses and multifamily buildings to make essential energy efficiency upgrades. To date, we've helped to upgrade almost 4,000 properties locally and helped them reduce their energy use as well as save money on their energy bill. San Francisco's Go Solar SF program, that's administered by the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, represented here today, is a rebate program that has been very helpful in increasing solar installations in San Francisco to about 2,500 systems on homes and businesses locally. Yet 56% of our carbon emissions still come from buildings, as you can see in this chart right here. And that's critical why we need to stay on this path and to continue to address carbon emissions from the building sector. So towards that end, we are implementing a new ordinance, the existing commercial building ordinance, which is a mandate for large commercial buildings to track and report energy use and receive regular energy audits. This, of course, is with the goal of inspiring deep energy efficiency retrofits of our commercial building sector. Last week, I'm also excited to announce that we just launched the Green Finance SF program, which is a commercial PACE program that's property assessed clean energy, which will help building owners access funding for energy efficiency upgrades that can be paid back over the life of the building. So that's on buildings. Regarding waste, we are sending less waste to the landfill. And as you've heard today, we have a great announcement that we've gone from 77% to 78% diversion from the landfill. Progress with recycling and composting is also helping San Francisco to reduce our carbon footprint since waste sent to landfill produces methane, a greenhouse gas that's 23 times more potent than carbon dioxide. San Francisco's mandatory recycling and composting law diverted 1.5 million tons of waste in 2009, and that would have otherwise ended up in the landfill. Currently, San Francisco is still sending 444,000 tons of waste to the landfill. That's the equivalent of filling this building 32 times over with trash. And although we have much to celebrate with the 78% diversion rate, we still are sending too much to landfill. 2/3 of what is sent could be recycled or composted. So if everyone in San Francisco, businesses and residents alike, were diligent about composting and recycling, we could reach 90% diversion today. And finally, regarding transportation, cars and trucks currently account for 39% of the carbon emissions in San Francisco, and unfortunately this sector is growing. The emissions from transportation is growing, not shrinking. So the city and my department is working very actively to get people out of cars and to electrify the vehicles that are currently on the road. As you've heard Mayor Lee say, we are working to make San Francisco the electric vehicle capital of the U.S. by installing public electric vehicle charging stations, as well as having a program to implement electric vehicle charging stations in businesses and multifamily homes. So regarding action, as you've heard the mayor say, there are a number of common sense actions that we can all take right now that can make a profound difference on continuing on our path to reach our goal, 20% below 1990 levels by the end of next year. A few of those actions are, for residents, you can adjust your thermostat just 2 degrees. That will make a significant impact on carbon emissions and the energy use that you're using. Another suggestion is to leave your car at home for 1 trip a week. Take a bus, bike, walk, take the train, leave your vehicle at home to help us reduce carbon emissions. And then finally, compost. We want more residents and businesses to be composting their food scraps in San Francisco. So in closing, there are many people and organizations to credit for helping to make these reductions a reality. Mayor Lee did mention many of the city agencies that are represented here today who've been very critical in helping to reduce carbon emissions on the municipal side, from the SFMTA to Rec and Park to SFO to the PUC. As well as we did want to thank PG&E as well for providing cleaner electricity for San Francisco. Wanted to also recognize Commissioner Gravanis, who's here today from the Environment Commission, who's been, the Commission's been a great leader for the department to provide advice for us on an ongoing basis. And I also wanted to thank the Community Climate Action Advisory panels that the department assembled to help put together some action plans for the future, represented here today by Christina Page with Yahoo. So thank you, Christina, for being here. Couple of other thank yous before I wrap up. The Business Council on Climate Change, represented by Catherine Machonsky, who's done a fantastic job working with us on reducing carbon emissions in the business sector. And then finally, wanted to just give a huge thanks to the staff. The climate team that's represented here by Kala Ostrander, Sachiko, Tanakawa, Marcus Keller, as well as Adam Stern, have just done a fantastic job putting together the assessment so that we can make this announcement today, and have been critical to the implementation to making this happen. And then finally, to the Zero Waste team, Robert Haley, who runs the Zero Waste team at Department of the Environment, thank you for all of your excellent work as well in helping us achieve 78%. So I'm proud to lead a fantastic department that is full of committed, passionate, smart, and motivated individuals who've been instrumental to the progress that we've made, but we can't rest on our past successes. We have to continue to push the envelope. And our policies and programs have put us on the right path, but we do need each and every San Franciscan to take personal responsibility for reducing our carbon footprint. And collective action, no matter how small, can create a powerful impact. So thank you all for being here today. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Melanie. I'm convinced that the job description of everyone at the Department of the Environment says good at doing stuff that everyone says can't be done. So thank you very much, Department, for your leadership and for making this happen for the entire city. The city's not alone with our city agencies in the effort to try and reduce carbon emissions and foster the green economy. A number of leading environmental organizations have really been driving the push for reduction of carbon emissions and for increased sustainability. And one of those organizations is the Natural Resources Defense Council. So to talk a little bit about the bigger picture, the context in which San Francisco's goals fit into the bigger picture, is Amanda Eakin, the Deputy Director for Sustainable Communities at Natural Resources Defense Council.
Thank you, Johanna. Good morning. My name is Amanda Eakin. I'm Deputy Director for Sustainable Communities with the Natural Resources Defense Council. NRDC is one of the nation's largest environmental organizations, and we have over 250,000 California members and activists. Two of NRDC's highest priorities are curbing global warming and creating sustainable communities, so we're honored to be here today to recognize a leader in both areas. On behalf of NRDC, I want to commend the City of San Francisco for your remarkable efforts to fight climate change. When the California voters overwhelmingly rejected Proposition 23 last year, a measure that would have delayed implementation of California's landmark Global Warming Solutions Act, we sent a strong message to Sacramento, and I think the rest of the world, that the citizens of California believe we can have environmental solutions and a strong economy. San Francisco's early success reducing greenhouse gas emissions is powerful evidence that the California voters got it right. California's goals are indeed ambitious, but as San Francisco is so boldly demonstrating, we can identify the policies to help us achieve our goals, while also improving public health, saving households and local governments money, and of course improving quality of life. San Francisco, as always, is setting the bar high for other cities. Has anyone noticed the explosion of people riding their bicycles around San Francisco? When I ride my bike down Market Street to work every day, I delight in approaching each intersection 30 or more cyclists at every stoplight. In just the last 4 years, thanks to investments which make it safe and enjoyable to ride, bicycling has increased almost 60% in San Francisco. SF Park, the innovative dynamic parking program, helps to reduce circling traffic, cleaning the air and reducing frustration. Investing in Muni Express lines is helping to make transit more competitive. San Francisco is also, of course, setting a model for others, encouraging infill development, recognizing that locating housing near jobs is one of the very best ways we can reduce global warming pollution. And San Francisco's success is inspiring change all over California. San Diego is about to adopt a plan that includes a 350% increase in bicycle and pedestrian funding and $53 billion for transit. That's more money and a greater percentage of the money than ever before. Mayor Villaraigosa in Los Angeles has been hard at work trying to build a transit system that's competitive. And rather than waiting 30 years, he's been working closely with DC colleagues to spend 30 years worth of transit funding in just 10 years. This will bring 12 new subways, create 166,000 jobs, and save $4 billion in interest costs by spending the money sooner. It's these kinds of win-win solutions that are the reason I'm optimistic that we can tackle this climate change challenge. The fact that San Francisco has reached this astonishing milestone of 12% below 1990 levels in 2011, beating the state's own goals by 9 years ahead of time, I think sends a hopeful signal to other cities and national policymakers that it is indeed possible to reduce global warming pollution and maintain an environment that is attractive for business. We look forward to working closely with the city, particularly as we look to the reauthorization of the federal transportation bill, to make the changes needed to help San Francisco stay on the leading edge of climate change policy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amanda. As the mayor mentioned, one of the key contributors to the city being able to reach this major milestone in our carbon reductions was the closure of the Bayview and the Potrero power plants. And the person who was at the center of that fight is our next speaker, Espinola Jackson. She's also described as a key ambassador for solar and clean energy in the city. Espinola.
Thank you very much. I would like to first give thanks to Josh Arcee, who could not be here. He just had a little boy, 8 pounds, 2 ounces. He is the director of Bright Line Defense. I also want to thank the PUC past commissioners, only one commissioner is left, that was very helpful for the past 7, it took us 7 years to get those 2 plants closed. Also, I want to give thanks to the people that live in public housing in the southeast sector. I want to talk about, that has been mentioned about the fact of global warming. In the southeast sector, most of our area over there is landfilled. And we're going to have to be very careful and not wait 7 years in order to have something done to make sure that the people are safe, especially with all of the buildings and things that are going up in our area. A lot of people are not aware of global change. They don't think it's happening, but it is here. I would like to also say that, yes, I was the first with PUC to receive solar and make sure that my friends and neighbors receive solar. And I think what we need to be pushing it for, I heard that all of the city departments, buildings should have solar because, as I've stated, would you believe my light bill is $4 a month? So this would make sure that those of you that don't have solar could imagine and not paying $300 and $400 a month, but maybe paying $30, maybe $20 a month for your electricity. Thank you so much for inviting me to come, and I'm still going to be there, and I want to be part of those committees that are set up talking about solar, not only the solar, but also the rising of the sea that's coming into my area, because I'm afraid, because that area, like I said, is landfill, and people do not want to realize the fact that it looks good, but what looks good, not good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jackson, and thank you for your dedicated energy to help us achieve this goal through the closure of those power plants. Finally, to wrap things up, we have the key person who has made this building what it is, the Manager of Sustainability Programs for the California Academy of Sciences, Aaron Pope, and we wanted to congratulate Aaron and the Academy for recently achieving double LEED Platinum status, the largest such building in the world.
Thank you for joining us this morning on our living roof. I think it's a bit of an exaggeration to say that I'm responsible for this building and all of the successes of the Academy. We have an amazing team and we had an amazing building project, so I can only take a small bit of credit for what we do here. But thank you for coming. We're really honored that the mayor chose this setting for his announcement today, and in light of that, I'd like to take a few moments to talk about a few key milestones that the Academy has achieved of our own. The new building was opened 3 years ago. We provided a stage for us to accomplish our mission of exploring, explaining, and protecting the natural world. We can offer exhibits and programs to the public and to the overall world about that, and we're very excited about that opportunity. Shortly after opening, the Academy received a Platinum Award for new building construction under the U.S. Green Building Council's LEED program. Just 3 weeks ago, we were very happy to learn that we received a second Platinum rating for existing buildings, operations, and maintenance, which basically means all the things we do inside this building, the way that we operate, the way that we manage our staff, the way that we manage our resources. So you're now standing on top of the world's largest double platinum facility and the world's first double platinum museum. The award was a result of a lot of hard work by our staff. We had to fine-tune a lot of our operating practices and work on our staff culture quite a bit. And here's a few examples of the ways that we achieved this rating. So 70% of the Academy staff commute sustainably, meaning that they either carpool, they ride their bikes, they walk, or they take public transportation to work. Our average diversion rate over the past year has been 65%, which is always slightly under the city's average, but we're dealing with an international crowd of 1.5 million visitors a year who come from all over, and they each have their own unique perspective on what waste handling means. I'm very, very proud to announce that this last month, our diversion rate was up to 75%. Which is our goal for the upcoming year. So we're hoping to be able to continue that and increase it as well. And finally, 100% of the Academy's energy comes from renewable resources, either the solar panels, which you see behind you on the array here, or through the Hetch Hetchy hydroelectric project. So these successes at the Academy were the result of a decision we made to inject sustainability into everything that we do when we were thinking about re-envisioning the Academy for the 21st century. It's the right thing to do in a science museum located in the greenest city in America. So on behalf of the Academy, thank you for coming, and I'm going to turn things back over to Johanna now.
So thank you so much for coming today. We look forward to working with you all in our next phase of achieving our carbon reduction goals. And now the real fun begins. Thank you.
SF Gov TV, San Francisco Government Television.